Good evening, this is the Northern Sun Experience. This is our penultimate or second to last episode of the season, and like any good television drama, this one will leave you hanging till the very end. Tonight's episode will begin our countdown of the top 40 NSIC plays of the year, and notice how I said begin and not necessarily end. So while you'll undoubtedly see some pretty remarkable stuff, the rest is to be continued. Nevertheless, let's begin our countdown at number 40. And it only makes sense to start our countdown with a man who shares the same last name as a famous drama director. Minnesota State's John Fuqua may not be Antoine Fuqua, but his flair for the dramatic comes close, cutting inside, falling down, and hitting the layup plus the foul against Minot State. Fuqua's acrobatics plus his scoring acumen led the Mavericks to the second round of the NCAA tournament. And he kicks off our big dance with the 40th best play of the NSIC season. For number 39, we stay on the hardwood with a little bit of baseball flair. In the NSIC Women's Championship, Sioux Falls' Taylor Varsho fires the baseball pass down to Allison Klostergaard for the easy lay-in. Varsho is the Cougars' leader all season long, leading the team in scoring, earning NSIC Player of the Year honors and NSIC Tournament MVP honors, as she helped USF capture its first women's basketball tournament championship with plays like the one at number 39. At number 38, it's our first football play of the year. Bemidji State wide receiver Vince Dinkle with some acrobatics getting 1 foot inside the pylon for the touchdown against UMary. Check it out one more time in slow motion. The junior adjusts to the pass and is able to make the catch against pretty good Marauder coverage. Dinkle had 5 touchdowns this season for the Beavers, but none of them looked as good as play number 38. Back to the court for play number 37, and let's show off a little defense. Upper Iowa's Jimmy Roth comes flying in for the monster block against Concordia St. Paul. Take another look from a different angle. Roth comes swooping in to slam it back down. Jimmy's got his training shoes on, and Jimmy's got ups for the Peacocks for the 37th best play of the NSIC season. From a player with mad hops to one who goes both up and down for the interception. UMary's Preston Tesher tips the St. Cloud State pass, falls down, but is still able to corral the interception for the Marauders. Slowing things down a bit, you can see how high Tesher gets for the initial tip, but then he maintains his concentration and keeps his eye on the ball for the interception. A great impression from Preston comes in at number 36. Heading 2 hours north to Minot, we find some more flair from North Dakota. Dominique McDonald drives and dishes behind the back to Luis Maya over to Chris Davis for the three-pointer. A beautiful fast break from the Beavers starts with the perfect pass and ends with a perfect shot. A perfect way to end the first part of our top 40 countdown at number 35. When we come back on the Northern Sun Experience, we continue our countdown of the top 40 NSIC plays of the year. Find out where this diving stab in the NSIC Softball Championship lands on our list.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. So far in our top 40 countdown, we've seen great offense and great defense on the court and in the field. But we'll start the next part of our top plays on the pitch. At number 34, some pitch-perfect execution from Winona State Soccer. Kelsey Foss with a shot from midfield, and it ricochets off the head of Abby Bohansky for the goal. A bang-bang play, the ball never touches the ground after its initial launch. Winona State would not only top Upper Iowa in that game, but Bohansky would top the Warriors in assists, goals, and total points. The freshman sensation already has a head and a leg up on next year's competition, but for now she'll finish her first season with the 34th best NSIC play of the year. For number 33, we go back to American football, where nothing was amiss about this catch from Upper Iowa's Jalen Amiss. Number 80 hauls it in for the one-handed touchdown against Southwest Minnesota State. The Peacocks' leading receiver in 2015 averaged exactly 80 yards per game to match his jersey number. And the irony, of course, with those numbers, Jalen clearly made more plays than he missed. Maybe my humor isn't top-notch, but Jalen's catch certainly is at number 33. Dragons are known for their flying, and at number 32, one MSU Moorhead player takes flight. Isaac Sievely spins out of the St. Cloud State double team and throws down the one-handed flush. Take a couple of looks at it. The NSIC's leading scorer this past season anticipates the help defender and spins away to free some space for takeoff. Sievely's slam is our first basketball play of this segment, and it comes in at number 32. For number 31, it's our fourth different sport in this segment, and a play that happened just 10 days ago. In the NSIC Softball Championship, Upper Iowa's Lauren Marlinghouse with a diving catch off the bloop from Minnesota State. The heads-up defense was critical for the Peacocks, who prevailed in a 3-2 victory in the second game of the conference championship. Upper Iowa ultimately finished this year with a school record 41 wins, thanks to plays like the one at number 31. Our last play in the 30s takes us back to the last time the Augustana men's basketball team lost a game. That was to Northern State in throwdowns like this one from Carter Evans. Great setup from his Wolves teammates Bo Freeze and Darren Paterka lead to an easy slam for Evans as the Wolves hand Augie its only conference loss of the entire season. Northern was feeling sky high at that point, thanks to Evans' high-flying theatrics. To the 20s we go with smooth criminal Sophie Kenny, because she steals all semblance of physics with this reverse layup over two Minot State defenders. We'll slow this one down for you. Kenny barely even looks at the basket before throwing it up and in. I have a feeling we'll be seeing more of Kenny later on in our countdown, but for the time being, we'll get another look at her no-look for play number 29 of the NSIC season. When we come back on the Northern Sun Experience, the countdown rolls on and includes the first basketball buzzer beater on our list, plus a small break from our top plays to discuss another NSIC football star who's officially signed with an NFL team.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. We'll continue our countdown of the top 40 plays of the NSIC season in a little bit, but first, another NSIC football star has officially signed on the dotted line with an NFL team. Former Augustana running back C.J. Ham officially signed with the Minnesota Vikings this week after a tryout with the team during last week's rookie minicamp. The 6'1", 240-pound back led the NSIC this past season in both rushing yards and touchdowns, with 1,097 yards on the ground and 16 scores. The Duluth, Minnesota native will report to organized team activities later this month in Eden Prairie, Minnesota. He's the second NSIC player to officially be signed to a team's 90-man roster. Former Sioux Falls cornerback John Tidwell in to deal with the Denver Broncos right after the draft. Back to our top 40 countdown, and we've seen the first 12 plays already, featuring everything from one-handed grabs to reverse layups to high-flying dunks. And we've even had a block in our top plays. It's not often you see a basketball block make a top play list, but a block punt in football, well, that's a whole nother story. Starting at C.J. Ham's old number of 28, the MSU Moorhead Dragons fly through the line and deliver on special teams. MSUM's Joe Rademacher blocks the punt, and Connor Hanf scoops it up and takes it in from 4 yards out for the touchdown. Check it out one more time. Rademacher blows by the scheme and easily gets the block, while Hanf cleans up the mess for the score. So if you take the fact that the return was only 4 yards but resulted in 7 points and multiply those numbers together, you get play number 28 of the NSIC season. We'll stay on the turf for number 27 and some trickery from Southwest Minnesota State. Quarterback Blake Gimble over to Devontae Stevens, who throws the 37-yard halfback option touchdown pass to Nate Hewitt. The Mustangs frequently broke out the trickery during one of the team's better football seasons in recent memory, so if you thought the halfback option touchdown pass here was pretty good, there's more Mustang magic to come. But at number 26, it's the Wolves' wizardry as opposed to the Mustang magic that works for Northern State. The Wolves use a reverse flea flicker to find Tyrell Anderson wide open for a 26-yard touchdown. Here it is again, Nick Truen over to Zach Barber, back to quarterback Kyle Lavond, and then a perfect pass to Anderson for the score. We love our trick plays because they make routine scores seem extraordinary. And when the execution is as smooth as it was for Northern State, it makes extraordinary even better. As we crack the top 25, we have a basketball trick play, although it might have been by accident. On the break, MSU Moorhead's Gijal Sangalo with the bounce inside to Isaac Seeley for the easy bucket. But if you slow things down just a little bit, you'll see Sangalo actually bounces it between Minot State defender Nate Merton's legs to find Seeley. Sangalo's intention was probably to pass it around Merton's, but sometimes the ball bounces in strange ways, and this just happened to go between the legs of the defender. Intentional, accidental, regardless, it's phenomenal, and it kicks off the top 25. For number 24, it's our very first buzzer beater of the countdown. Trailing by a point with less than a second remaining against Minnesota State, Minnesota Crookston designs a beautiful play to Isioma Odor for the game-winning layup as time expires. Take another look as the play develops around half court. You can see Odor going around the screens and finding herself wide open underneath the basket, one of the easiest buzzer beaters you will ever see. But the only reason the basket was so effortless was because of all the effort that went into the execution of play number 24 of the NSIC season. At number 23, it's another one-handed effort. Augustana's Logan Ferrazzo makes the spectacular one-handed grab for the touchdown against Concordia St. Paul. We'll slow it down here. Fantastic adjustment by number 12 to bring in the score from backup quarterback Chase Marzo. The touchdown really didn't make a difference in Augustana's 76-21 win over the Golden Bears. That doesn't make it any less spectacular or any less worthy as being one of the NSIC's best plays of the 2015-2016 season. When we come back on the Northern Sun Experience, we're getting closer to the top 20, but first, we'll explore two plays that came within mere minutes of each other at Bob Young Field in Sioux Falls.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midcoast Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience. One of the best football games of the year came way back on September 19th, 2015, when the University of Sioux Falls eked by the University of Minnesota Duluth 35-31. It was an early battle of undefeateds, and while both teams were only 2-0 at the time, the game helped produce the next two plays on our list. At number 22, the Book of Solomon has many chapters, but a brand new one on interceptions. Solomon St. Pierre with the ridiculous pick on Minnesota Duluth's Drew Bauer late in the first half. St. Pierre led the NSIC with 10 interceptions back in 2014, and he added 9 more this past season, including this spectacular leap. That pick set up USF's last touchdown of the first half, and as it turned out, their last touchdown of the game, proving incredibly vital in their victory over the Bulldogs. For number 21, we go back to USF's fourth touchdown of that game against UMD. Luke Papillion executes the best bootleg you will ever see, fooling the entire Minnesota Duluth defense and practically waltzing up the left sideline for a 56-yard touchdown. Take a look at a different angle, you can see there's nothing but open space in front of him, and Papillion takes full advantage. Also give credit to receiver Garrett Shutt holding his block on the left side for Papillion's final spring. The junior quarterback had 125 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, while also throwing for 218 yards in the big victory over the Bulldogs. We have reached the top 20 and we go back to the hardwood for more heroics. Down by 2 off the missed free throw, Bemidji State pushes things up the floor, setting up Calvin Harrington on the right elbow for the game-winning three-pointer to top Northern State. The Beavers don't call timeout after the missed free throw with 7 seconds to go, and the freshman Harrington finds some space to hit the biggest shot of his young career. Calvin's clutch gene checks in at number 20. Back to the gridiron for play number 19, where Upper Iowa's Jordan Ramos does it all on special teams, the block, the scoop, and the score for the touchdown off the Minnesota Crookston punt. Here it is again, Ramos comes in off the right side and executes the play to perfection. The Peacocks also had a different punt return for a touchdown later in the game against the Golden Eagles, as special teams played a huge role in their eventual 45-3 victory. To the NSIC basketball tournament for play number 18, where UMary is right on cue. In the final seconds, Q Edwards puts up a ridiculous left-handed shot to tie things up against Minnesota State. Take another look in slow motion. Edwards drives inside and puts up a lefty rainbow that somehow goes in. That sent UMary's quarterfinal game into overtime, where they would eventually prevail over the Mavericks. It was a banner season for the Marauders, posting their best overall basketball record in 5 years. It seems like UMary has their P's and Q's in order with the 18th best play of the NSIC season. For number 17, Minnesota State's Jalen Pendleton goes all out. Trying to run out the clock in the final seconds, Pendleton somehow gets a pass off to TJ Lake, falling over the scores table, and John Fuqua would eventually finish the play with a dunk. Let's slow this one down. Pendleton being pressured by the Southwest Minnesota State defenders, and he uses his last bit of space to save the possession and provide the Mavs with some last-second points to escape with a win over the Mustangs. Pendleton and the Mavericks also escaped with the 17th best play of the NSIC season. When we come back on the Northern Sun Experience, we're getting all that much closer to the top 10. And I hope you like buzzer beaters, because the next batch of top plays all come down to the wire.
The Northern Sun Experience on Midco Sports Network is presented by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine and Dakota Land Honda.
Welcome back to the Northern Sun Experience as we continue our countdown of the top 40 plays of the NSIC season. We're up to number 16 right now, and in the first 24 plays that we've already shown you, we've technically had only 3 buzzer beaters, 2 to win a game and 1 to tie a game. Well, that's all about to change right now as late game heroics highlight this next batch of the NSIC's best of the best. At number 16, we have a little bit of revenge from play number 20. In that one, it's Bemidji State with a last-second shot over Northern State, but this one skies above the rest. With time winding down against the Beavers, the Wolves' Sky Warwick shakes, bakes, and nails this game-winning three-pointer with 2.4 seconds remaining. Take another look. The Beavers' defense is actually pretty stout against the Wolves, but Warwick's razzle-dazzle frees up just enough space to nail the game-winning triple. I'm not saying he's Steph Curry, but Warwick's ability to create some space and the confidence to fire a step-back three is positively MVP-like, as he skies his way to the 16th best play of the NSIC season. To number 15 we go, and some bounces go the right way for Augustana. With time winding down against Wayne State, Sophie Kenny's corner jumper bounces off the iron, but right into the hands of Paige Peterson, who puts it back up at the buzzer for the 1-point win. Take another look. Kenny's shot doesn't even really come close, but Peterson's spacing puts her in the right place at the right time. It was a magical year for Augustana's women's basketball team, and I have a feeling you'll see another buzzer beater from them very soon. How soon, you ask? Well, how about right now? At number 14, Sophie Kenny redeems her miss in the regular season against Wayne State with a clutch elbow jumper in the final seconds of the NSIC tournament semifinals against Winona State. Her 12-footer with 2.5 seconds remaining gave the Vikings a 1-point victory over the Warriors, a team that had lost just twice the entire season up until that point. Kenny was the emotional leader of Augustana all season long, and the senior's performance for the entirety of the NSIC tournament won't be forgotten anytime soon. From her career-high 31 points against MSU Moorhead in the quarterfinals to her game-winning basket against Winona State in the semifinals. For number 13, it's the return of the Mac. With time winding down in overtime against Minot State, Sioux Falls' Mac Johnson misses on his first try, but connects on his second, nailing a last-second three-pointer to top the Beavers. Here it is again, down by 2. Mac goes for the win and misses, but the ricochet gets it right back out to him, and he doesn't miss twice. That gave the Coup a 1-point overtime win, and it also gave Mac Johnson the 13th best play of the NSIC season. At number 12, it's a football buzzer beater. Down by 6 to Winona State, and with their playoff hopes on the line, Augustana pulls out a miracle. Quarterback Trey Hyde somehow avoids the Warrior rush and lobs it up to Charlie Hayes for the game-tying touchdown as time expires. Here it is again. Hyde stays on his feet despite the pressure from the Warrior line, and he's able to find a wide-open Hayes on the lob pass to the end zone. Kicker Lucas Wayman would nail the extra point for the ultimate victory, but this Hyde to Hayes connection kept the Viking ship afloat and propelled Augustana to the Division II playoffs. And at number 11, it's another Augustana buzzer beater, only this time back on the hardwood. With time winding down in an exhibition game against Division I school and Big Ten power Iowa, the Vikings' Dan Jansen nails the turnaround at the buzzer for the upset victory. Sure, the game didn't actually count in the final standings, but it definitely got people's attention. A Division II team doesn't just win on the road at a major Division I school, no matter what the stakes are. But this shot would prove to be foreshadowing for Augustana, as they would cruise to a 34-2 overall record and capture their first national basketball championship. Who knows what the motivation or inspiration was for that run, but you have to believe the team's confidence was sky high after this shot from Jansen, the 11th best play of the NSIC season. So what astounding athletic achievements will make the top 10 NSIC plays of the year? Well, you're going to have to tune in next week to find out. Next Wednesday, May 18th, right here on Midco Sports Network.